Welcome all to Super Saturday, or should I say Stupid Saturday? Because honestly, why the hell are we covering games which are redundant? Australia, Bangladesh, there should be some sort of records being reigning there. And England, Pakistan, it's so redundant in Kolkata, but nevertheless, we'll have it. I'm looking forward to today to, of course, seeing my friends Nikhil Popat getting his fantasy, of course, predictions, right? And Gurkirat getting all the tweets right in the world as well. How are you guys? Because absolutely, as you can see, I'm still shit faced from last night. Okay, let's start there. What's up? How's it going? Happy Diwali, by the way, to everyone. My brain is scrambled at the moment, so bear with me. Thanks,
Shabash! Early
Anvil.
morning happy Diwali gift from
And
Gurkirat Paji.
I'm
Cheers.
hungover. I'm hungover, Gurkirat, of course. Brilliant.
This has been a pattern. I am 100% sure. Shows in which Avnish has been there, I've been mute. I have spoken on mute at least once. So we
It
know
Like,
doesn't matter with me,
I
generally
won't be
with you.
surprised if Paji brings up a graphic someday.
yeah, has to be that. But yes, happy Diwali to all our viewers. And yeah, good day in terms of how the weather is in Delhi, because we were discussing a lot about pollution and everything. Thankfully, some rains have come, so it's a bright sunny day. And yeah, looking forward to this game, even though it's pretty much inconsequential in terms of uh, who in terms of deciding who ends up in the last four. There is some context on offer in terms of if Bangladesh finish in the top 8 or not. And I don't know, I have a funny feeling that the Pakistan England game could just offer something or the other. It could just offer something absolutely mad or stupid. It's just, you know, they are those two kind of teams, although you just feel that, England are going to try and do whatever, probably, just they like to put in a performance which sort of says that, the last 8 matches have been sort of an aberration. And Pakistan would also like to, have a good performance so that they can claim the moral victory which England has been claiming so far. So I just feel that that game could have some, I don't know, some drama.
Yeah, I've been looking at social media and essentially everyone is literally kind of redesigning those scorecards, Dix. I don't know if you've seen it. Pakistan 420, winning by 330 runs and all of that. What are you looking forward to the most? I know Australia Bangladesh is the first game, but are we kind of looking at that and been like another sort of Maxwell Mania performance, even though he might be rested? I mean, what really gives you glee this Saturday morning or Saturday in general?
Yeah, see, there are a lot of things to look out for. No Shakib means another batting order change for Bangladesh. So you're then looking at, okay, who will bat where will the musical chairs end there. Shanto got runs in the last game, so did Amit Ridhoy. So little things to look out for there. Potentially last World Cup this is for many of those players. So you may not see them around next time. So I think that sentiment is always around. And with Australia, I think Steve Smith is something that is someone they'll want to get back and get him among the runs. Doesn't enjoy playing Bangladesh, but loves to play at Pune. So we will not talk about that. But so there are small things to take care of. Travis Head would want to get some runs as well. So Australia have had good performances, but they've been very good individual brilliant performances. They haven't hit teams as a unit yet, which they'll hope to do in the knockouts. So there are a lot of individuals that you can focus and see how they go about today.
Yep. Obviously, Bangladesh still need to qualify for that Champions Trophy. And like Nick said, they will do it without their captain today. Let's see how that all unfolds. The toss is going to happen right now with regards to Australia and Bangladesh. So Pat Cummins is out there. And I think Shanto is going to be stepping in yet again as the captain for Bangladesh this time around as I peer through. Gurkirat, really quickly before the toss. Every time I think of Australia, Bangladesh, me as a cricket fan, I go back to bloody 2005, Mohammad Ashraful, Cardiff win, and all of that. Can they pull it off today? Or do you think, again, dreams are there only to be thought of, but not in reality?
A few things will have to go Bangladesh's way for that to happen. They'll need the pitch to be slightly slower and dry so that spinners can come in and choke that Australian batting lineup, along with ensuring that David Warner gets out early, because David Warner has great numbers versus Bangladesh. So if those boxes can be ticked, and if they get their batting order right, it might happen. But yeah, at this point of time, it looks difficult. because I just have a funny feeling that today Stark could, come back to his come back to form or his usual self in World Cup, because Bangladesh struggle against left arm pacers. Stark has not had any success, and now Australia are bowling. So if there is any movement up front early on, maybe Stark gets his mojo back. I hope they're playing him, not rested him.
Yeah, it'll be
Funny that
interesting.
Anirudh also had the same feeling in the last game against Afghanistan, where he said that Stark will take five today. So at least
And
one of
Stark has
them.
been rested. And Stark has been rested.
And Stark is being rested. In fact, Australia have two changes by what I could tell. We'll just confirm that. I'm reading all of this, by the way, in the cricket.com
Yeah,
website. You guys can check it out. Obviously, I have my TV and mute. But, Nix, what do you make of that? Australia winning the toss and electing to field. Um, Early finish, boys.
I'm not going to say anything after the last Australia game, keeping my expectations firmly to myself in that regard. But you'd say in a day game, the pitch shouldn't change much. It should remain the same for majority of the game. So you'll want to just get the ball rolling and then chase it down without much fuss. So also gives them much better planning in terms of how they want to go about it, as opposed to batting first, where you will be thinking a lot more about what is the pace that you want to go to and all of that. So I think this just kind of eases the work. Australia's bowling has done good enough so far, and again, as Paji said, no Stark, so means I don't know if Sean Abbott is playing. So Stark and Maxwell both are rested. So
Yeah.
that means two good opportunities for somebody new to come in. And if they can put in a good performance, it's just something good for them to rely on. Okay, if something untoward happens leading to the knockout, they have that experience. And yeah, it is Sean Roberts. I think he could be a great differential today for people to try out. And Smith is back as well. So that is as good as it can get. And again, you expect Australia to just be very professional, get the job done.
Yeah, in fact, Carmen's going on to say, Gurkirat, that they want to exploit the swing in the morning air and, of course, try to wrap up this as early as possible. I know it doesn't matter in terms of the points table, but they can actually supersede South Africa if they win this, can't they? And let's just take a look at the points table as well, and that'll reflect it. Because, like you see there, the four highlighted teams, and Australia, if they win big enough today, they can actually surpass South Africa. But only time will tell how they go about their business against
Yeah, the
Bangladesh. And
only difference that is going to make is, who's going to get the home dressing room, because that's what Dan Vittori said, that they want to finish above South Africa so that they could, get the home dressing room as opposed to the away dressing room. So yeah, that's the only difference it's going to make.
okay, super. By the way, lots of comments coming through in the morning, at least from one man, and that is Santosh Sharpa. Pune, last night it rained, he goes on a saying. And
Oh.
yes, yes, we're following the game, Santosh. I know you're a massive Australian fan, so good luck for watching this one. Or not really, because does it really matter to you? And are you expecting an upset, you yourself being an Aussie fan? This match is nothing much for 21 players. Zampa wants to add his tally of wickets, 100%. And simple cricket talk saying, hi, guys. Good to see you. Get your predictions, boys, in terms of the comments. We'll keep taking your questions and insights and all of that. And of course, we'll address not just the first game, but the second game in just a bit, the England Pakistan game as well. Go on, Gurkirat.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Australian 11. I felt that today could have been a good chance for them to play both Stoinis and Green, and maybe finally take a call on who is going to be their preferred all-rounder. At this point of time, it seems to be Stoinis, but I don't know. I just feel that when it comes to the bat, Green's applying himself a lot more than what Stoinis is doing. The shot that Stoinis played in the last game, I mean, was there really a need? Could have easily looked to play Rashid. And if Stoinis was being used a lot with the ball, I could have understood Australia wanting to stick with Stoinis, but he's not being used with the ball as well much. And now since Travis Head has come in, he's also bowling a little bit, because he bowled, I think, 4 overs or 5 overs in that Ahmedabad game versus England. So I just felt that maybe they could have played both Stoinis and Green and sort of had a final audition of sorts. If they haven't, then it probably means that they are pretty much sure that they will play Stoinis in the semis.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go about it, especially Sean Abbott. What if Sean Abbott just comes in and gets a six for? Obviously, Australia are not going to bring him for anything, especially at this stage of the tournament. Keep your comments coming through. Greg saying, looking for a park breaking the 500 barrier mark, face blue, smiling, going on to use that emoji. Santosh Urba again saying maybe Karish also should have got the opportunity. He's just played one ball this World Cup of Ravindra Jadeja. Yeah, I mean, English, I think they're just giving him a longer rope. So let's see if that features in our next segment, which is, of course, X Factors, before we move on to key battles. Right, X Factors, and gentlemen. Nikhil, I'll start with you. One from Australia, one from Bangladesh, and why?
Sean Abbott, pretty obvious, straightforward pick. Moment early on. Uh, Again, it also depends on whether they bowl him early or Hazelwood. So whoever Hazelwood could also pick up a good four for today. But Sean Abbott coming in will be eager to put in a good show. And again, the venue is such that I potentially think he's far underrated as opposed to the two guys that they have in the squad as first preference. So I think Sean Abbott could do the job for them as well as Green or Stoinis with the ball. With the bat, he had a 34 ball century just this year. So there isn't dearth of form there. So Sean Abbott in that aspect, and for Bangladesh, I don't know. Maybe it's the planning that is the X factor. I don't know because I don't know who will bat where. But it is Australia batting first. Paji's favorite player, Mushfiqur Rahim. If he was his X factor, then sorry, Paji. But I really don't have trust on any other batter at this point of time, apart from him and Mahmudullah. And you have the two Mehdis playing today. So definitely Warner and Head are going to get Mehdis upfront to confront with. So let's see how that also pans out.
Baji, can you give me another one, or do you agree with Nick's?
No, I was going to go for Hazelwood because Bangladesh are batting first, and this pitch has had bounce. This pitch has had bounce, and Hazelwood, unlike other bowlers who can extract bounce, isn't erratic. You, if there is one bowler who you could expect to be accurate in terms of nailing the line and length, it is Hazelwood, and I felt that Hazelwood in this World Cup has bowled well, but hasn't got the number of wickets he should have got. So I just feel Hazelwood could be that guy today. For Bangladesh, like Nikhil said, it's difficult to really pick one because you don't have any trust on any of the batters. If Bangladesh were bowling first, it would have been slightly easy that okay, you go with Miraz because they'll face a lot of spin up front. Nasum's also coming because Shakib's not there. I am tempted to go for him, but I am not even sure if Bangladesh batters would set up a score that will bring Nasum Ahmed in the game. That's my feeling because
Do
Nasum
you
Ahmed
do you
has.
agree with Greg here? He says he doesn't even see Bangladesh crossing 250.
Yeah, at this point of time, it's not an outrageous prediction because they've only crossed it twice in the tournament, and one time it happened. It was when there was heavy dew in Delhi against Sri Lanka, who've been the worst bowling attack this tournament. So you cannot really say that this is a wrong prediction at this point of time. Now, as I was saying, can't want to go for Nasum, but I'm not even sure if Bangladesh will get a decent enough score to bring Nasum into the game. And Nasum played the last game that Bangladesh played at Pune, so we'll have to go amongst batters for someone, and yeah, have to go with Litton because I do still feel he's their best batter when it comes to playing pace bowling. Conditions, if you've seen from whatever we have seen of the pitch at Pune, it has had bounce, it has had decent pace. So you'd have to hope that he gets well. Got a decent start in the last game. Hopefully can convert today, but yeah, it's a risky pick,
Okay.
as the case with most Bangladeshi
This
batters
is
at this point.
as X factor as X factor can get.
Yeah.
As always with Taji, he went for Shaheen Shah Afridi as an X Factor the other day. I started laughing. Hilarious. Anyway, let's talk about the key
No, no,
battles
no, no.
then.
But those two things are different.
Yeah,
Shaheen
but
Shah, you expect
So he's
Litton
talking
to.
about the extremes.
extremes, all of that. X. Okay. X. He's got some part of it right. Let's see if you guys can predict the key battles in this. And there's some good ones at the top. Or early Bangladesh, only time will tell. Anyway, key battles up next. I'm staunchly thinking of the first innings here, boys. What are the key battles? Will it be just that 10 over burst at the top with Hazelwood and Abbott going at the top order? Or do you see any other potential ones? Maybe Mushfiqur versus Zampa, Mehmudullah versus Zampa in the middle, or should we not even go there? Gurkirat, I'll start with you. What are the key battles that we're looking at? You could probably even talk about the second innings. No problem.
So with the second innings, as Nikhil also mentioned earlier, the spinners, the two spinners versus the Aussie openers will be a key battle, but it will remain a key battle if Bangladesh get to a score. At this point of time, that you cannot be assured of it, given how Bangladesh have batted. So, you know, obviously one key battle is the first 10 overs, how they, face the Aussie Pacers because they've not done well. If Stark was there, I would have said Stark versus the batters. But I do feel that even if they get to a decent start, how they tackle Zampa in the middle overs will also be deciding how the game goes, because that is what happened when Bangladesh were playing India at this venue. They got to a good start. I think they were 63 for 0, which is the only time India did not pick a wicket in the power play. But then when Kuldeep and Jadeja came on, they just struggled to rotate strike. Forget hitting boundaries. They just struggled to rotate strike. So yeah, if they get to a decent start, then that could be a battle to look out for. That how do they deal with Zampa, because Zampa's been in very good form after the first two games.
It's a very good point that he mentions there, Nikhil. Gurkirat, with regards to, of course, Bangladesh already playing in this surface, not this surface, but at this venue against India. Do you think they can learn a little bit from that? And could they take anything in terms of at least certain key battles out there against the Aussie batters or bowlers?
Yeah, you can say, but the problem with these two sides is, and Australia in particular, is they don't play Bangladesh too much. I don't know for what
Hmm.
reason. So maybe people can someday wake up to that fact as well, that it's not just Ashes and everything. There are other responsibilities as well that boards have, but that's a debate for the other day. In terms of using experience here, you'd hope, you know, not having Stark really frees their mind up that it is Hazelwood that they have to counter very first, see of the new ball, and that will leave them with enough ammunition to take care of other bowling options, whether it is Stoinis or it is Pat Cummins, who haven't been taking a lot of wickets. So I think they just need to plan it out in a way that they are not losing too many too early. But again, the way how Bangladesh have batted, it's really difficult to say confidently that they'll be able to do it, because all of these Australian bowlers will be more than happy to put the short ball in. So
Yeah.
if they don't get in, they will get peppered. But if they get in, they could really have a good game, get a good score, 260, 270, and then unleash the spinners. So it may not be a cakewalk that we think it might be for Australia, because if Naso Mehdi's get going, it will be slow burn kind of a game. But then I don't think they'll not mind. They will mind that. So I think Das up top is very very critical. क्योंकि वो left arm का threat निकाल लो, तो as Paji said, it's just the Hazelwood का bounce that you have to take care of. So take care of that, build your innings, maybe push Rahim Mahmudullah at good spot, and then take care of Zampa like that, because you expect them to play spin better. Again, the relative comparative term is better.
Yeah, and I mean, again, whether it augurs well for Australia heading into that semis, it'll be some sort of test for them. But Bangladesh, honestly, we can't really expect them to light it up with their batting because boys have been mentioning that. But
You know,
something, at least
one
for their
thing that
fans.
one thing should make Bangladesh happy is that when they come on to bowl, there is no Maxwell to contend with. So you know that your spinners are in the game far longer than than what it would be against any other opposition that have good middle order batters versus spin.
Hmm. Let's give you some trivia time right now in Did You Know? And then we move on to the second match. Right, we'll give you some stats in just a bit, but here's the trivia. And Bangladesh's famous win in 2005, like I mentioned, in Cardiff against Australia, is their only win against the Aussies in 22 ODIs against them, which is an absolutely one sided history in ODIs indeed. But forget that. Let's, of course, look at what's going to be hitting our screens very soon. And that is, of course, Adam Zampa. Because I know Shane Warne's got 20 wickets in that 99 campaign. There's 21 by Brad Hogg in the 2007 campaign. I'm talking about an Australian perspective. But he can actually, not just beat Hogg and Warne, but perhaps surpass Patai Muralidharan. Only time will tell with regards to whether he does it, because he has today, he has, of course, that semi final and potentially the final to take four more wickets from here on. So that's something to watch at, all you Adam Zampa fans, indeed. And more stats, because proper strikers, even though Maxwell is not playing today, he still needs about what 10 to get past Ricky Ponting in terms of most sixes in ODIs for Australia, and look at the amount of time that he's done that in compared to someone like Ricky Ponting. It's quite ridiculous. And finally, reflection for that points table, even though we showed it to you, it doesn't really affect the first game. But Bangladesh, if they do win, they of course overtake England momentarily and go on 6 points. And England, of course, will be looking to get the points against Pakistan with regards to their qualification for the Champions Trophy. Speaking of England, Pakistan, let's move on to that. But before that, obviously, we'll just answer Sanjay's question. And Gurkirat and Nix, you could come in here. Would you directly get in Steve Smith once he's available, or would you continue with Labuschagne in the semis? I want to know what Australia are going to do. Get it Steve directly into the 11, you reckon?
Smith is playing today. And yeah, even though his form's not been the greatest, too big a player to drop in the semis. Can't. Because see, he's had his issues, but you still expect a player like that to be able to graft a lot better, or just find a way a lot better than what Labuschagne would do. So there's that. And the last two semifinals, 2019 World Cup semifinal, it was Smith who was there, who could take Australia to a decent score when they were three down very early. 2015 also, he had a very good 100. So too big a player to be dropped just because he's not been in form.
Okay. Predictions then, guys. How much do you think Bangladesh will get batting first here? And is there a miracle, the Cardiff miracle, or not really? Nick's, your prediction?
Yeah, I mean, I had my hands burnt that way in the last game. Sorry, very scared after that one. So straight good 8-9 wicket win for Australia. If they don't win, we have stuff to banter Anirudh with. So I am okay both ways.
Okay, so what's the score you're going with?
Uh, Mahmudullah will eventually find a way to score runs to 249.
249. I'm going to go for 228, but it'll still be some game. But Australia gets to win by 4 wickets. Gurkirat, where are you sitting in this? Any
240.
upset?
No,
Any upset? No.
no, 240. See, there's just one thing. If Bangladesh lose by a decent enough margin, Sri Lanka could end up eighth. So yeah, so even if Bangladesh are losing, they'll probably be have to careful of the margin that they lose by. And I do sense some desperation somewhere or some cheeky stuff to happen because of that Champions Trophy stuff on the line for Bangladesh.
Another batter being timed out? Maybe. Only time will tell, of course.
Timed out, run out at the non-strikers end.
For
Who
sure.
knows?
No.
I will have a good sleep. Yes, 100%, man. I mean, it's Diwali. I don't know why we work, but like we will, of course, do the shows no matter what. Goes on to say, Sanjay, again, the only upset so far in the World Cup has been Bangladesh beating Afghanistan now in hindsight. Hilarious. Right, let's, of course, talk about the second game then, guys, because England, Pakistan from Kolkata, and that'll be a fantastic game. Generally, when I was looking at the fixtures, I was like, shit, that game could have a huge amount of significance. But as it stands, just Champions Trophy qualification and maybe bragging rights for England, Pakistan. Gurkirat, I'll come to your thoughts about that game. But Nix, how do you see that game? And do you think it's just, I don't know, I mean, just another ODI in Kolkata? What else could we dub it as?
Arey, it is England playing. They keep giving you new reasons to follow the game, new ways to play the game, new rules to learn every single game. How can you say England game can be a dead rubber? No England game can be a dead rubber ever. So that is that went out of the way. Uh, you could potentially see a lot more new faces there as well. Maybe not a lot, but again, very keen to see if they are continue to rely on Ben Stokes there. Okay, bhai, please do something for us. The rest of us don't want to do anything. So whether that happens, whether Joe Root is able to get past that new or that first 10 overs and then get going, whether he again attempts that scoop and it comes off as his Haris Rauf, who knows? That is something to look out for. And also their combination. I think in the last game, Paji was very adamant about Moeen Ali not playing, ended up with 3 for. So today also, please Paji take a few names so that I'll remember and then I'll make them captain or vice captain so that they come good. For Pakistan, it is massive. Very keen to see their approach as well in terms of if they are batting, whether they look for that cushion score, because I think it's ridiculous to think that with 250 to 300 they could get. They really have to get a larger score, but then you can't play for that larger score from ball one. So how does Fakhar Zaman pace his innings there, and how do England then bowl with Chris Foakes and others to Fakhar Zaman? So there are again in both the games there are a lot of individual mini battles to go with. Adil Rashid versus Fakhar Zaman could be very interesting to see if Fakhar is set. So there are options, and again with England Pakistan, you are never in a lose-lose situation. You are always in a win-win situation
No, I mean for
as a, as
sure.
a, as a, as a neutral.
No, no, 100%, and agree with you. And even though it looks so impossible for Pakistan, let me just tell you what they need to do. If Pakistan bat first and assume they score 300, then they need to restrict England to 13 runs. If they score 350, it's 63 runs. If they score 400, it's 112 runs. So obviously, you can do the math and figure out in terms of if they score 500, they have to restrict England to 211 runs. But only time will tell if they score 500. I don't think that's going to happen. But on the contrary, if England bat first and say that they get 100 all out, literally every ball needs to go for six if Pakistan needs to win, because they need to chase down a target like 100 in 2.5 overs, which, I mean, like I said, 17 balls, everything needs to go out of the park. So it's obviously ridiculously tough. And then what about England's Champions Trophy 2025 qualifications scenarios? Because they beat Pakistan, they hope at least one of Bangladesh or Netherlands lose their final game. Bangladesh, of course, to Australia. Netherlands are playing India in Bangalore tomorrow. Or if they lose to Pakistan, they would need at least Bangladesh and Netherlands to lose that particular game. So all's not lost for England, even if they lose today. But they have to keep an eye on the net run rate indeed. With regards to possible changes, I think Stokes will play. I think all the candidates will play that particular game, and I don't think England are going to make any changes. They might, you never know, but because they kind of rested Livingston the last time out, they had Atkinson in. Only time will tell how they go about it, but we can guess as only as you can. Right. Let's just tell you a couple of things before we get into that. X factors, and of course, not to forget other things that we want to discuss, like comments. Belville just wants to have his say quickly. I want England to win the toss, so Pakistan fans lose their hopes. But then England goes on and asks Pak to bat first and give them the little hopes back, but thrash them for less than 150. Ouch. Greg saying England is saving cricket. Could save Park today. For all the talk of fuckers, Zaman saying Sanjay, it would be comical if he gets out cheaply. It would be interesting how the rest of the batters then. No, I mean, to be honest, I would want Pakistan to bat first and literally just get off to a crazy start, 100 for none in like 9.5 overs. It'll be fun to see. But then, of course, everything, if it just bites them back, who knows? Let's, of course, discuss the key battles in that one then in the England-Pakistan game, because there's some riveting ones. I can bet you that. Right, Gurkirat, I'll start with you. Kolkata, England, Pakistan, key battles, especially. What do you think a side should do if they win the toss in Kolkata today? Should they bat first? And then you can tell me, beg your pardon, your key battles accordingly.
I should bat first because I was reading some previews, even the one written by our own writers, that I think in the last 6 games that have happened at the venue, 5 times teams have won the game while batting first, and 4 times captains have chosen to bat first. So also there's been some help under lights, and the pitch has not been a flat one. The pitch has had something for the spinners. It has had some grip, it has had some bounce, and batting's not gotten easier. So they should look to bat first. When it comes to key battles, Nikhil mentioned how Vokes and Billy will bowl to Fakar, because Vokes has had Fakar's number 3 times. Rashid's been brilliant. He's, I think, taken 2 wickets in probably five of the last 6 games, and he's been one shining light for England in this World Cup. He's been someone who's delivered come what may. And today also, if Fakar gets out, because Nikhil rightly mentioned that if Fakar stays, then maybe that threat of Rashid could be dealt with in a better manner, because Fakar, when he gets in, he can take on spinners. But if Fakar gets dismissed, then the Pakistani batters, most of them right-handers, versus Adil Rashid, could be another battle. Uh, if England's batting first, then you know that today is the day. You'd really want Bairstow to sort of, if the pitch is anything like what it was in the India South Africa game, you'd really want Bairstow to hit the ball running straight away and put Pakistan under pressure, because if there is no swing, he's very well capable of taking on Shaheen and even using raw space to good effect. And the Astros not really had a great tournament either, barring that 150 versus Bangladesh. So yeah, these could be the key battles. And because I mentioned Bairstow, I am also going to save some time of yours and say that Bairstow is going to be my X factor for England.
Okay, perfect. Sanjay going on a safe park gets off to a flyer. If the Chacha versus Rashid will be interesting to watch. Mohan versus Fakar could also be interesting. I like how Gurkirat brought up the whole Fakar versus Vokes thing, because it's a fascinating subplot. Next, what else do you have for us in terms of England Pakistan key battles? Anything which hits you straight away?
I, yeah, I'm very keen to see the spinners that Pakistan out for. Last game they played with 4 pacers. So uh, we've seen some reverse in some of the games, and I think that is something that I'm very keen to see, because like, who doesn't remember a left arm seamer going around the wicket and getting I don't know, Josh Butler and Ben Stokes in 2 balls to just have rekindled some good old memories. So that could potentially happen depending on the conditions, but maybe while bowling first as opposed to bowling second. So that combinational thing is something that I'm looking forward to, because you've seen that middle order hasn't quite fired. Usually you associate England's engine room to be firing on, you know, all cylinders. Okay, by it's scary to have Stokes, Butter, and then Monley, Livingston, but then it hasn't happened. And if they get Mohammad Wasim in at the right time, and if he's getting the ball to do something, then that could really be something to look out for. At least, especially for Butler, who's only found the wicket keeper or the mid off guy. So I think that will be a very good battle to watch out to look out for.
Yeah, and Wasim has his tail up right now, and who
Yeah.
knows if, in case he, of course, is bowling in a particular scenario of a game where reverse comes in an equation, and England's batting lineup this tournament has just been shambles. So let's see how that goes. We already know Gurkirat's X factor, but what is Nikhil going to go for? Let's find out. Ooh, nearly a wicket there for Hazelwood straight up. Sorry, we're just watching this as we do the show. But X Factors, England, Pakistan, who am I thinking? Obviously, the one everyone's hoping for it to happen is Fakhar Zaman. But I would probably, who would I go for? I would probably go for David Milan, even though he's been in some really good form. I just think he'll probably end the tournament on high, end up being England's highest run scorer, maybe. Who knows? But Nick's who you going for? X Factor.
I don't know why I did not think about that name till the time just we started the preview about that game. So Harry Brook, he's had some very good memories with this Pakistan lineup. He's played a lot of them, and very recently, maybe might be on highways, but I still expect him to adapt. And again, this is a good place, a good game to audition for a spot, for a longer term spot in that order. So I think I had no clue whether that I'll go with him, but just a gut feel pick then with Harry Brook. Hopefully he plays and he's not rested. So Harry Brook it is from England, and from Pakistan. Very tempted to go stick with Ifti Chacha, But I think today could also be a very good day for South Shakil to come good, because I expect wickets to go for, because they will try and they have to. So if Pakistan bat first, South Shakil could really be very very handy. If they are chasing, then I'll go with Mohammad Wasim.
Mohammad Wasim, insane. What about your Pakistan X Factor, Gurkirat? Because I know Bairstow for you, is it this man, even though he doesn't really needs to be called an X Factor? Babar Azam, what do you feel?
I mean, if anything, I'm looking at. I just want to see Babar back today in terms of his approach, because today is the real day where he could really throw shackles at everything and free himself up, that okay, I want to bat aggressively, because there is literally no excuse to sort of bat in a manner which where he's trying to anchor, because especially if Pakistan are batting first. So I'd be interested to see if Babar Azam changes his approach, comes out, firing at all cylinders. But my X factor will be Rizwan. Uh, I just think after the a good start to the tournament for him, there has been a slight lull. So yeah, Rizwan is my Pakistan X factor. And on your, which was David Malan, I just want to say that it could be somewhat, like how it was. When you mentioned David Milan, my mind went back to that scene from Milkha Singh, "Ye aapki last race ho sakti hai," because David Milan has already said that, this could be his last ODI, because they are expecting a lot of wholesale changes after the World Cup. So who knows if David Milan turns into Milkha Singh today in that regard.
I mean, that was just generally a crazy stat which came out, right? I think the India game it was that England played everyone who were 30 and above in terms of age, and that's never happened in an ODI World Cup before. At least you have some sort of youngster as well, which is quite crazy. By the way, just to finish on the stats part, you take a look at this: most wickets for Pakistan in the World Cup, and of course, no prize for guessing who it is. And let's see if they can come together again. Also, another one which really whets the appetite: most losses by a test playing nation in a World Cup edition. England, they could go into the record books today and overtake Sri Lanka's absolutely appalling show in 1987. But let's see how it goes, especially for the defending champions. It's probably been the worst of all time indeed. Right, we'll give you some trivia right now with regards to this particular game, and that is, of course, did you know England versus Pakistan this time around? Right, so what is it for today? Let's just, of course, take a look at it. Now, it pertains to Ramiz Raja, who in 1987 was dismissed on 99 by obstructing the field against England. He was the first batter to be dismissed for obstructing the field in ODIs. I mean, do you have a cheeky comment, Gurkirat? Any sort of puns we can make with Ramiz obstructing
Yeah.
the field?
I don't want to say anything, because whatever I have to say on Ramiz Raja, Nikhil's laugh is summing up. Let Ramiz be Ramiz.
That's Ramiz be
Yeah,
Ramiz indeed. But I can
because
give you some more.
he doesn't he's not very receptive to criticism. Let's just say that,
No,
or
100%.
cheeky comments, or cheeky
I,
comments.
I agree with you. But look, that's a pretty good. Did you know if you kind of missed that? But I'll tell you something else, because you look at Pakistan's World Cup record since the turn of the century, and only 2011 they made the semi-finals. All the other competitions, World Cup, ODI that is, they haven't made the semi-finals, and they were so elite when talk about the previous campaigns before 2000. I think they were making 5 out of 6 of those semifinals. Nonetheless, it's only, of course, time telling if they can make the semifinals this time around, and there's no chance whatsoever. I would love to see it. I would love to see it if Pakistan actually magically win today, but whatever the amount is, but we're not getting a miracle 100%. On that
Just
note, let's get your predictions in then, Gurkirat. What the hell's going to happen in Kolkata? And do you think we can actually see some Kudrat ka Nizam in any which way, shape, or form?
yeah, no, I don't see Pakistan qualifying for the last four. Uh, all I mean, things will become clearer as to who wins the game. I think after the toss. At this point of time, you still will say that Pakistan go in as favorites, But I just have a feeling that if Bairstow comes off, then England could probably win their third game. And nice to see that Ramiz Raja was obstructing fielders, early on before obstructing people on Twitter.
I knew you'd say something. You was just planning and thinking about it. Knicks, I mean, if Pakistan do win today, right, they're on the same points as the rest of the peeps and all of that. Where do you think they look back at that campaign and be like, "Share, this is the
South
match we
Africa
lost
game.
it in South Africa
South
game,
Africa.
right?"
South
Because
Africa
if
game. It,
if
it,
they
it was
had
there.
that, yeah,
It was there
go
in
on.
the bag. It was there in the bag. They just had to find a way, proactive, and all of that. But again, hindsight, we discussed that game at length. So as a South Africa fan, I'll take that win, but Pakistan will rue that game a lot. Uh, but again, I think it is fair reflection as well that eventually, if it leads to them making the right changes for the right reasons in their setup, that will benefit them a lot more in the long run. So I think you will take it that way. And I don't know, Paji's funny feeling could come true in the Eden games that you could see 400. I don't know. Whichever team that scores, but you just feel. I hope the deck is good because Eden Gardens deck hasn't been that great so far. But with the semis also coming, you want to see a good deck. It is supposed to be a dry deck, but with one shot boundary. अब ड्राई डेक है तो इंग्लैंड पाकिस्तान का स्पिन वैसे भी नहीं हो रहा है तो होपफुली एटलीस्ट रन्स कैन बी स्कोर्ड देन
Okay, of course. Let us know in the comments below with regards to Super Saturdays winners. Will it be Australia and England? Will it be Bangladesh and Pakistan? Only time will tell, of course, with regards to this Saturday, because Sunday, of course, India Netherlands will be doing fan camps for that one, and there's more to catch on cricket.com. So, like this particular video and subscribe. I know it's been an early Diwali morning, but the festival of cricket meets the festival of lights, is what they're saying on broadcasters, and I would say that as an anchor as well. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Really, really appreciate it. This Saturday morning, Gurkirat, Nikhil, you guys have been champs as ever, and Gurkirat, all the
Yes.
best. It's a working day for you, working weekend, right?
Yeah, yeah, working day
Okay.
today.
Okay, have a good one. Before I take more of your time, it's a goodbye from all of us, and we'll see each other post the games, post the England and Pakistan game to be particular.
Yeah.
And let's see, we can hope for some good cricket. That's all we have.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Happy
Cheers.
200. Bye.
Happy 200, happy 400, happy Diwali, honestly. Bye.
Happy Diwali.
Cheers.